Welcome to the Home and Garden Show. Again, this is your second year with us, Oz. So if somebody's just starting to look at wines, what should they be thinking about?
I would say if you're absolutely starting out, there's two ways to do it really. Either you just go to your local supermarket and take one or two bottles off the shelf. Work out how much money you've got. If you've got a fiver, have you got a tenner? You can get perfectly good wine for a fiver. You can get much better wine for a tenner. And start with the new world rather than the old world.
Yeah.
So I would say start with maybe a white wine from New Zealand, or a Sauvignon Blanc, for instance, or a Chardonnay from Australia, or a Merlot from Chile, and take them home, get a few friends round and say we're having a wine party. And I would get a little notepad down, and everyone's got to make some comment on it.
Yeah.
If you can tell the difference between a cup of tea and a haddock, you can tell the difference between a glass of Sauvignon Blanc and a glass of Chardonnay.
Do you know that? I think in the UK we're really lucky because we haven't had a strong winemaking industry, although obviously it's getting better now. We've imported from everywhere, haven't we? Whereas if you go to Spain or France or Italy, what you tend to find are their own wines, and they don't get the same range that we do in terms of different countries to experiment with and try. Do you think that's why it's become so much part of our lives now, that there's so much variety there to please everybody?
Britain is the best place in the world to learn about wine. We get a wider range of wines in this country than anywhere else. We import more wine in this country than any other country. Now, someone like America drinks more wine than we do because, well, there's 5 times as many Americans, for God's sake. But most of the wine that they drink is their own wine from America. We've got a very good wine industry developing in the south, by the way, and with global warming, it's spreading north. I've got a friend who makes really quite nice stuff in Yorkshire, for instance.
Excellent. We'll have a vineyard upon Hague Pit in no time, won't we?
Hague Pit, looking southwest, you'd be absolutely catch all that lovely evening sun.
Yeah.
You could, honestly, on the slag heap on the other side of Hague Pit, you could shove in some vines. And there's still probably a bit of heat.
Yeah.
All that gas coming out through the venting chimney, it's still a bit of heat there. But we've been a trading centre for hundreds of years, but wine has very much been under the control of what one might call the upper middle classes. Now we've got people coming in from every country in the world, particularly the New World. We get better choice of New Zealand wines, Chilean wine, Argentine wine, Australian wine, South African wine.
Yeah.
Any high street we can talk about, in Cumbria or in Northumberland or in Glasgow or in Grimsby or in Plymouth, has got the same kind of range of wines. Now, what they've also got, and this is where sort of you and Jared come in, increasing numbers of towns are also starting to have a local wine merchant. And that's sort of stage 2. I think the supermarkets are really important in getting people going on wine.
Yeah.
But the second stage is in a way when people think, okay, I want to learn a bit more about this. And that's when you sort of need a friend. Because once you've just got through, I like Chardonnay, I like Sauvignon, I like Merlot, I like Cabernet. And you think, okay, where do I go next? And then you're starting to talk about, okay, well, there are 6 different areas in, I don't know, the middle part of Chile. Are they all the same, or are they different? Is it that one there always seems to be £2 more than that one there? Is it better or not? That's when you need a local wine merchant. I know that you and Jared do this. You sort of say, we are your friend on the high street to come and talk about wine. And also not only what you as a wine merchant have got, but then what you as an audience might want. Because one of the things that I've always felt is that I've always wanted to give the consumers what they want, but with the added thing of, so long as I can give them what I think they will like best.
Yeah, because you want to stretch the palate a little bit as you move along, don't you? The other thing I was wondering, let's put you on a desert island and you can only take one bottle with you. What would it be?
Depends on my mood. Sometimes it would be an eternal pint of unpasteurized milk straight from the cow. Because I was brought up in the country, and I think the flavour of fresh milk is one of the most heavenly flavours in the world.
Well, that's a very unexpected answer, I have to say.
Sometimes it would be the best pint of English IPA beer from a local brewery brewed by an inspired brewer, and Cumbria's got loads of them.
We have.
I would want it from the cask. And I'd want the cask to be just primed beautifully so that there's a prickle on your tongue when that first pint is drawn. And if I was on a desert island, I'd want that first pint always to be that first pint again and again and again, and the cask never going off, never getting stale. And then you say, oh, but what about wine? Wine is so often about who you're drinking it with. It's about love and disappointment and excitement and where you are. And you know, some of the most beautiful wines I've had, they haven't got names. They're just drinks I had with a girl or with friends, or when something wonderful had happened, or when the sunset was perfect. You know, you could take me up to, you know, and sit watching the sun going down from the Hague Pit tonight and give me something. And I might just say, this is as good a glass of wine as I could possibly wish for, because I was up there with you.
I think sometimes the glass of wine absorbs the occasion in a way that perhaps other drinks don't, doesn't it?
I think that might be true. Good glasses of wine, they're made by men and women who have looked after this piece of land, hopefully with love and devotion and commitment all year. They finally have the chance to take the fruit of their precious piece of land and ferment it with love and with care and with skill, and finally get this lovely liquid, this nectar, this ambrosia, whatever it happens to be. Even if it doesn't always taste particularly delicious, it's still an offering of saying, this is from our place and this is from us. And in a way, if we're a rough and tumble old pair, this is probably a rough and tumble old wine. But that's how we are, and that's how it is.
Well, talking about a nice glass of wine, should we say cheers to all our viewers and enjoy a nice glass of Whitehaven?
Whitehaven, yes. Excellent winery.
I know.
Cheers to Whitehaven from Whitehaven. Lovely.